G'day, I'm Dan from Certified Energy Solutions, and today we're going to look at generator integration with the mySigen application. So the only time you'll have a generator input on these systems is if you're in a off-grid configuration and you've got the generator as a backup device, or in a hybrid configuration where the generator takes over the smart port input on your gateway with your system. Or if you've got the new Neo, there won't be a gateway, we can hardwire that straight into the Neo inverter as well. Really important to understand the generator will never be able to run while the system's in normal operation mode if the grid's involved. So if the grid's in the background, it's connected, the generator can't run, but the generator in a hybrid configuration can run if you're in a grid loss scenario and you don't have that alternative power source. So it can be a really good thing to have a backup of a backup if you're concerned with frequent blackouts. So let's go into the software control. So we've got Shikaya's system here. She's a recent off-grid conversion that we did, and she's given us permission to use her home as a demonstration on how to get the end user level control through your generator settings. So you can see Shikaya's home is actually an off-grid configuration, so we've got normal off-grid, so there's no grid on this property whatsoever, and we've got a little X down here where the grid would normally show. Now, to get into our settings for our generator, we click on the inverter, we scroll down here, and we can see we've got SIGEN system device, which is the generator. Now, Shikaya's system is currently set up on auto. Now, auto allows the SIG Energy system, based on the parameters that we set, to automatically start that generator and turn the generator off. So we can set the kick-in point and we can set the shutdown point on that generator integration, so it's completely automated. You don't have to do anything at all. Now, to change this, all we need to do is basically click on the three dots. We can go from operating mode to auto start. We can change it to manual control. Now, once we've changed it to manual control, we can hit save and then back out of this. Now, sometimes it won't actually come up with a little button straight away, so you have to go back a step. I think this is a glitch with the software. They might fix this soon. And then you'll see down the bottom, we've now got a toggle switch. But if we click on the generator, we've got a button as well. So at the moment, there's no power being delivered by this generator because it's physically turned off at the moment. So if I wanted to turn that on from the couch to, say, force charge the battery system so it doesn't automatically kick in through the night, if you've had consecutive bad weather, we can go manually, turn it on, yes, confirm. This can take around about 30 to 40 seconds. Once it receives the signal, it's going to check the voltage and the hertz and all the power coming out of the generator through that gateway into the inverter, and it will make sure it's a safe power source before it starts showing data and before it starts taking on power. So really important to make sure you have a quality generator, because if your generator is not putting out a quality power source on the AC side, or if the hertz are fluctuating, then you can run into an issue called out of phasing. So this is normally something you'll see in cheap, nasty, entry-level generators. They've got really dirty power curves. And this system will automatically detect that and basically in that scenario go, we're going to reject that power source. So which means you'll have to get rid of that generator and then buy a new one so the system can actually integrate it. So really important to keep that in mind. Now we can see while I've done that explanation, it's now kicked up on Shikaya's property. So again, we ask permission for this so she knows that it's not obsessed or, kind of doing weird things by itself at the moment. We can see the current, so 12.41 amps, we've got the voltage, we've got our reactive power, we can even see the hertz, so it's locked at nearly 50 hertz, which is Australian standards. So that'll actually tell us it's operating without even hearing that generator. Now, if I go back to the system, we can see here, we've now got down the bottom of the grid. So there we go, it's just updated. So again, this is an off-grid scenario. So what's happening is her off-grid system thinks the grid's back on now, so you can see on grid up the top here because it's detecting there's another power source coming through that gateway into the inverter. So the generator's actually pumping power into the property. So that's how we know it's actually working without having to listen to it. So really handy if the generator's right at the back of the property and you're not sure, you can see from your couch without getting rained on if it's pouring down rain outside. Now, to go back in to turn that off, we just go back into the system. Generator, I like to do it there and turn it off. That'll shut the generator off. And then we go to three dots. Always remember, once you've manually overridden, go back to auto control and hit save. Always remember that save on the top right, because you may forget. So the next time, when it gets to its cut-in point, it won't trigger itself because it's not in automatic configuration. It's waiting for you to manually send the command through. Now we're back on this auto screen. If we scroll down the bottom here, we've got all these extra settings. So there's some stuff here that you're going to see that only we have access to as the installer. There'll be settings though that you will have access to, but it's imperative that the installer or the retailer enables this functionality for you so you can get access to it as the end user on your app. Still the same method to get in here. Now you can see here, if it's enabled by the installer, you'll get this option here that says exercise. So you can basically set it up so it'll run for 15 minutes once a week on Saturday at 1700. I always recommend to customers in an off-grid setting, make sure you set this maintenance run to work when you know you're going to be home more often than not, because it's really important to be able to hear the generator so you can identify if there's any operational problems with that particular generator. Nothing worse than thinking it's doing what it needs to be doing, and then when you really do need that generator, it's, you know, gummed up with wasp nests and the exhaust pipes. You might have an issue with it starting or a dead battery, things like that. So always do it when it's in earshot so you can hear it's running properly. Now running down here, we've got load condition. Now load condition is really important if you've got a site where your system might be limiting in its output capacity. So with Shikaya's home, she's got a 10 kilowatt inverter. Her loads very rarely exceed 4,000 to 5,000 watts. So she's definitely not a massive power user, but if you've got a scenario where you might be exceeding that 10,000 watts of load, you can set up your generator to load assist with those peak loads, which means if you're consuming 13,000 watts, instead of tripping that inverter that can only put out 10,000 watts, the generator can fire up and assist with that 13,000 watt load. So it'll handle the 3,000 or whatever you set up in this load condition setting. So to set this up, we've got load total power. We always stick it on total power mode. Generator start load total power thresholds. This is in kilowatts. So if it's a 10 kilowatt site and we are going to be exceeding that load pretty often, and you want that generator to help instead of tripping the system out, I'd normally set this to around about 9 kilowatts, which is 9,000 watts output on the inverter. And then basically if that load sustains higher than 9,000 watts for, I think it's about 60 or so seconds, the generator will fire up to handle that surplus load. So it'll handle out of 3,000 watts, you know, plus on top of that load. And then we can set the stop threshold. I normally do it a kilowatt under that peak kick-in point. So this is the turn-off point at 8,000 watts or 8 kilowatts. So that means once the load gets down below that 8,000 watts for 30, 60 seconds, the system will detect it and it'll automatically shut off that generator. So that's how to set up that setting. Now I've got that turned off because Shikaya doesn't need that extra juice because she's not even hitting 50% of what that inverter can put out inside the home. The other really important one is time of use. Now, if you do not have this enabled, your generator on automatic mode will never start or receive the command from the mySigen app through to your start cable, which is the 2-wire integration on that generator. So again, your installer should be setting this up for you and allowing you to have access to this so you can change this on the fly too. So we've got time of use period 1. So basically 0 through to 2400 is basically any time of the week that generator can receive the signal to start up if it needs to. You can do block out times here, and you can add more schedule by hitting the plus down here. So for example, if it's an Airbnb, we can set up the generator so it can only ever start between the hours of 8 AM in the morning and 5 PM in the afternoon if it needs to. And you can have that set up into smaller segments by running multiple schedules. Now within the setting here, we've got our Monday through Sunday, as we can see. We've got auto start SOC, which is state of charge. So on Shikaya's site, we've got it set up so if the battery capacity gets down to 15%, the generator will fire up and then it'll run all the way up to 50% battery capacity and then turn off. That's obviously to minimize generator runtime, noise, and obviously petrol consumption or diesel consumption if you've got a diesel. That's a really important kind of window to kind of work out what's best for your particular site. A lot of our customers do choose to have this auto stop state of charge set to 80%, so bring it up to 80% and then automatically turn off. Now, duty cycle, there's a percentage down here, so we can set the duty cycle for how much power we want to pull out of that generator. So again, speak with your installer or your retailer or your consultant to make sure the generator you're getting is going to be up to the task. It's the right generator, it's got a clean power source, and that we actually set this up for the correct duty cycle. If you get this setting wrong, you can run into other problems with your generator, essentially tripping the breaker on the front of the generator because it's trying to pull too much power, or really high running costs because the thing's going to be running red line everywhere. So you want to get that duty cycle within the right range for that specific generator. Anyway, we're back onto auto start, and again, to finalize, always make sure whenever you change your configuration, your settings, you always press save up the top, just getting that habit so you know that setting's always been taken on board. So I'm going to go back out of this, and we can see that little button's gone. She's back on auto start now. And then if I go down here, this data set will actually update in a second. If I drag that, there we go. So she's now gone back to normal, off-grid, and we've got an X where the generator was. So that's perfect. There you go. Any other questions? If you aren't confident changing your settings, have a chat with your consultant or your installer. Hope you found it handy, and we'll see you around.